My dog's never done nothing like that, so that's why,
Well,
it
how do you
didn't make
know
no
that your
sense.
dog's never done anything like that? Haven't they just never been caught?
Well, they had sheep and goats for a lot of years, so...
We have chickens, and they have never attacked our chickens.
But are your chickens locked up?
They have in a coop, but we let them out
We let 'em
during
out,
the day.
too.
Not too long, we can't leave them out, but there's a lot of coyotes, and they could have done that too. I mean,
I'm going to go ahead and open it up if there are any
Good,
further questions.
thank you. I'm a little concerned. You're alleging that this is a defense of mistaken identity. And what we have to determine is how accurate is the plaintiff's testimony. And that comes down to a question of what we call direct evidence and circumstantial evidence. Direct evidence is what I see, what I hear, what I taste, what I feel. And I can tell you what that is. Circumstantial evidence is if I wake up in the morning and there's snow on the ground, I can assume that it snowed that night.
Correct.
You understand that?
correct.
Right.
So what is the direct evidence that your dogs were responsible?
But
Listen, direct evidence. I wake up in the morning because I hear my sheep. I go outside. I see two dogs, two German shepherds. I see them biting my sheep. Direct evidence. I follow them directly to your home. Direct evidence. Did they have blood on them or didn't they? Circumstantial evidence. What is powerful evidence is the direct evidence. Could we be mistaken? Could you be mistaken? Could they be mistaken? Possibly. But what are the reasonable inferences that we are to draw from what both of you have said about this? We know that there are 7 dead sheep, mauled and bitten. And the plaintiffs swear to us that they were your dogs. They know your dogs. They've seen them in the past, and you have admitted that you don't lock them up during the night. You would like us to believe that 2 other dogs from around the area did this. You would like us to believe that a bear did it. You would like us to believe that a coyote did it. It would be purely speculation on our part to make those assumptions given this testimony.
I don't think they would kill them. We've had them since they were puppies that were born.
I'm sure they
They're
love
at our
you.
house.
I'm sure they respond to you in a very loving, caring way. I'm a pet lover, and I'd fight for my dogs,
I do too.
and I can understand that, but dogs are dogs, okay? So we're going to excuse you now, and we will deliberate and render our verdict.
This courtroom is now in recess, so go ahead and exit.
Well, I think I've laid out my thinking. I wanted the defendants to try and understand what was relevant, what wasn't relevant, and also to understand that I understood as a pet owner and as a dog owner that I can understand why they'd be concerned. But I do think that a combination of both direct and circumstantial evidence clearly point to the defendant's dogs, especially because they were warned by the neighbor.
They were warned, and I think you laid it out perfectly in terms of what evidence is before us, and it's just so much speculation on the part of the defendant to assume that it had to be anybody else's dogs or some wild animal that could have done this when we have direct testimony about them witnessing these 2 dogs. And then you pointed out, Judge Juarez, about how these descriptions on this board, this forum, they're not going to get it perfect, right? But
Kind of sounded like their dogs.
They sound kind of similar to these 2 German Shepherds. So I'm convinced that this was their dogs responsible for the plaintiff's sheep dying.
The question that's a little gray is the emotional distress.
I don't know about the emotional distress. I think typically there needs to be extreme and outrageous conduct. And I think they were negligent with their dogs. I don't think that this really rose to the level of how could you possibly do this.
Right.
In a
They live in a
community
rural area.
in a community where dogs are
certainly
roaming.
It's understandable that animals would be out there. They should be compensated for the full amount of the cost to replace the sheep
And the vet bill.
and the vet bill.
And the vet bill, yeah.
Okay, I think we have a verdict.